What is up, guys, and welcome back to DeeterPlays. So today we are going to go over, as a part of the Loomian PvP overview series, today we are going to talk about the Luminami. We're going to go in depth. We're going to talk about the best movesets, its strengths, its weaknesses, its base stats, and all of that stuff, and everything really that you need to know about the Luminami. So we're going to get started here just by talking about simply what type it is. It is a water type and a light type. As you can see, it's kind of obvious just by looking at it. It's got a little light in the front of its head, and it looks like it can swim, so it definitely looks the part. So as far as what its major weaknesses are, and what its strengths are, so the biggest weakness it's got is against plant, dark, electric, and toxic. It has no actual major weaknesses, so that is a really good thing. As far as what it's resistant to, so things that it's strong against is other water types, other light types, also ice and ancient. So other things like the Himber, or ancient things like the Obsidian or something like that. And it also has a major resistance against fire. So that makes a lot of sense, guys. Major resistance against fire types, so against an Embit. However, an Embit is also a little bit of a metal type, which could be basically a normal effectiveness, and if they've got their metal type turned up and they use like a searing steel against you, it can still be pretty effective against a Luminami. It is also completely immune to spirit moves, so that is a couple different things. Like, you can see like Vesperatu, there's the Duskit, there is the Ursul, there's the Revenine, there's several spirit moves. The Icicle, they all have some spirit moves that if they try to use them on the Luminami, they will not be effective at all, and they won't do anything. So that is another thing to keep in mind if you come up against a spirit moved Loomian. And also the Luminami, we're going to take a look at the base stats, and you will see it's also not really the fastest Loomian that you will find as far as base stats. So let's take a look at those base stats real quick, and then judging by the base stats, we're going to talk about kind of like different move sets that I would recommend, things that would be kind of good and things that maybe not so good. Right here in the base stats, as you can see, the health is huge. It's got lots and lots of health, but it's going to need that because the speed is super duper low. Look at that. The average speed is 60. Now you can see the ranges over on the right side. The maximum would be if there was 40 UP stats, 200 on the TP trading, and a helpful personality for that particular attribute. So those are pretty high numbers. And then the lowest would be, super low if there was 0 on the UP stats, no training for the TP, and a hindering personality. So basically the little arrows, the bar graph on the left side, that shows the average number. So here, something that you can also notice, the energy, the melee attack, the range attack, and the defenses are all kind of average, like slightly above average there compared to most other things. So it's not like it's super heavy on the melee attack or super heavy on the ranged attack, but it does pretty well as far as health. So that's why we're going to talk about for the Luminami. You have a couple of different options when it comes to the different types. So we're going to talk about, this is one of the few ones that we're going to talk about. Usually I'm going to try to give you a move set that we're going to recommend, and at the end of this video we're going to give you just a recommended overall move set. But there's really, now since we've got rallying and we've got some new moves that we can learn, some new melee moves, there are some different options here. You can go for a ranged attack tank, you can go for a melee attacking tank, or you can go for something that is kind of somewhat split down the middle. Let's just take, for instance, the melee attack. Say we want to go for something. Actually, I would say it was originally intended for ranged attack. So let's talk about the range attack stuff first. So there's certain move sets here that you go for that would be recommended for ranged attack. So when it evolves, it also picks up the Flash Pulse move, and when it hits level 40, it picks up the Maroon move. Both of those are very useful, but those are kind of options. But with rallying, you can get Gamma Pulse too. So there's one little discussion here. Some people are wondering which is better, Flash Pulse or Gamma Pulse. Gamma Pulse has more strength as far as a ranged move. It is 100% accurate. However, its energy costs are 50. It's pretty expensive as far as energy costs. The Flash Pulse, on the other hand, the strength is 75. The accuracy is 90, but You know, given that the energy cost is much lower at 35, and also it can leave them dazed. So afterwards, the Flash Pulse has kind of an extra advantage. So that argument of Gamma Pulse versus Flash Pulse, I say Flash Pulse. But you could use Gamma Pulse instead, and a lot of people would probably be able to swap one out for the other. But I am personally choosing Flash Pulse. So when I say Flash Pulse, you could also substitute that for the Gamma Pulse as well. So as far as a ranged one, the moves that I would go for and the training that I would go for. For the moves, I would go with Flash Pulse, I would go with Maroon, and I would go with Soft Water, and I would go with Peace of Mind. So if you've got this moveset, you've got a little bit of recovery, plus you have this Peace of Mind move, which is going to boost your range attack and defense. So the range attack and defense, already just a little bit above average. So once you go into battle, you use a Peace of Mind. That is going to bring those up. That is going to make the Flash Pulse even stronger. That is going to make the Maroon even stronger. And if you use a Soft Water, that kind of helps you recover from the fact that you might have to use one of your turns to get a Peace of Mind out there, and you've got enough health to be able to try to work that in. So I recommend you can go into battle, you use a Soft Water, use a Peace of Mind, and then start smacking them really hard with the Flash Pulse in the Maroon. And that is if you've got the ranged configuration here for the Luminami. So if you are going to do the TP training just for the range type of Luminami, I would recommend 200 TP on the ranged attack, 200 on the health, just to bring that up even further. And you can actually bring the range defense up a little bit with 100 if you want, or you could bring that speed up by 100. Now, it's not going to make much of a difference because you can see the speed is really low on the base stats, so you may or may not want to bring that up. It's kind of up to you whether you want to spend that last 100 TP on rage defense or if you want to spend it on speed. Generally, you know, like most things are going to go faster that we have to worry about. So anyways, that is for that one. Also, I would recommend that one if you are going to go for a certain personality type. When you're going for the breeding, I would recommend go for Smart, so that the Smart will add to your ranged attack. So you're just going to be a ranged attack tank, because you've got your TP training, you've got that Peace of Mind, you use a Flash Pulse and a Maroon, and you should be able to tank and hurt lots of Loomians pretty easily with that combination. Now, there is a different configuration that you can go for here, which is basically, I call it the Chomper configuration. It is a close range configuration that you can go for, that if you do not want to go for a ranged attack, now thanks to rallying, you can go for a great move set here that you can get that will help for close range attack. And then I would recommend different training and some different personalities, of course, for this configuration. Anyways, for this configuration, the move set that I would recommend are Submerge, Mega Chomp, Chili Chomp, and Thunder Chomp. So this thing, it's the Chomper, guys. Like, it is super close up. It's got a lot of different options. Like, anything you go against, you've got a water type, a dark type, an ice type, an electric type. So it covers the field pretty well. If you're going to go up against anything, there's a chance that you've got at least one move that is going to be super strong against whatever they're putting up against you. So this kind of covers the field pretty well. All of these are melee attacks, so they are close moves. Most of these moves you have to learn, like Mega Chomp, Thunder Chomp, Chili Chomp. You have to learn all of those through rallying. And then, of course, since this is melee attack, as far as the TP training that I would go for this configuration, I would go for 200 on the melee attack for TP training, 200 on the health, and then again you can do your range defense with the last 100, or you could do speed. Either way, I would recommend for a personality type that you'd want to go for this configuration would be Brawny, because that would bring your melee attack up even further. So these things would be super strong with their melee attacks, and there's a high chance that you're going to have something that is going to be green no matter what you go up against. Now, as far as a teammate for this guy, I would recommend, it never hurts to also have, if you're going to have Luminami, also have a Seer Knight on your team, because between the two of them, they seem to cover a wide range of things. So the two of those being on the same team is actually a pretty good combination. So I'd recommend going for that. Now, if you don't want to go just specifically close range, and you don't want to go specifically far range, you want to go somewhere in between, you want to be able to have kind of the best of both worlds, you can do that with one of your Luminamis as well. And as far as the different move sets that I would recommend for both of those, for the close moves, I would recommend Submerge and Mega Chomp, because you can do a lot of damage with those, both of those, compared to the Chili Chomp and the Thunder Chomp. Now, as far as the range moves that I would recommend using, the Flash Pulse is a good move, and I would recommend also just having Soft Water on there, because Soft Water is a great recovery move. And, I mean, you could instead replace that with Maroon, and then you've got a close range and a far range water move that is very useful. But you also would have 2 water moves, and you wouldn't have anything that would help you recover. So I would honestly recommend going for Soft Water in that situation. But then if you're going to do that, you could do 200 on the melee attack, 200 on the range attack, and then 100 on the health. So you're boosting that health just a little bit more, and you are boosting both of those attacks, and you're going to be pretty strong with all of those attacks across the board. As far as personality type, you can go for Smart, or you can go for Brawny, whichever one you want to try to focus more on. Smart if you want to be stronger on your close melee moves, and on the range moves, and Brawny if you want to be stronger on the melee type of moves. Okay, now as far as which item I would recommend holding for these, of course, water and light type essence are going to be valuable for those moves. If you want to have any of those moves super strong, then a water type essence is going to be really powerful for you. A light type essence will be really powerful for you as well. There's also the option of the power cuffs. So when it's held by Loomian, their offensive moves will deal 20% more damage, but they're going to cost 25% more energy. But, you know, with this, you can deal quite a bit more damage, and I would recommend, like, especially if you're going for the melee attack configuration, with all of those close range moves, the energy cost isn't really too high, and to be able to deal 20% more damage, that is really good. So I would recommend a powerful move here. Go for the melee configuration with power cuffs, or if you're going to go with the range configuration, you know, you can do a little extra damage with those too, but I would recommend maybe go with a water or a light essence on that range move configuration. Now, you know, it's really much stronger if you're going to go out and battle. Either go, I've got both, you know, I've got one that's ready for range fighting, one that's battle for close range fighting, and those are very strong in what they do. You can kind of go in the middle right there again, and you can have them strong with both moves, but that's really up to you with the sets. So there's kind of 3 different sets. There's the close range, the far range, and the mid range that I would recommend for this guy. But it's great balance as far as mid and far. It's got excellent health, but remember, its speed is really low, and it's going to be kind of a little bit difficult to go first, so just be ready to take a hit or something with this Luminami if you go into battle with it. So if you guys are new here, I would love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm going to get a video out like this for every single Loomian in the game. So thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you guys later.